It's really connecting with your body. Perhaps taking a few slightly deeper breaths, each breath prompting you to bring your attention within. And when we connect with that being awareness, we're connecting with an unchanging part of our being. So everything we observe is in the changing, the realm of change. Our body constantly changing, thoughts in our mind constantly changing. But just seeing whether you can deepen your familiarity with the unchanging part of your being. And it's not a part that your mind can know. I've just been listening to a talk on the mind and the challenge of going beyond the mind. Because of course the mind gets very good at yoga practice. The mind gets very good at meditating. And so we need to sense deeper than the mind. And it's something that comes perhaps more by grace than effort. Just relaxing, listening. So the subtle awareness that we practice in our body starts to develop our sensitivity for this kind of noticing of being. And after time, we just get bored with the mind. You're watching the trying mind, the busy mind, the planning mind, the mind that regurgitates the past. Even if it's just to begin with an intellectual watching, mind watching mind. This process already begins to soften up our ego and to soften it up so it's ready to let go. So we're ready to let go of that mind and the identification with our thoughts that is the ego. So kindly observing, knowing that all that we observe will ultimately loosen up and connect us more permanently with being the observer, being the awareness. Relaxing more and more deeply into being. From that perspective, observing the mind, observing the body. Not concerning yourself at all with any thought, however valid or important the thoughts may be in these moments, just training yourself to rest in being. And again, bring your attention to the breath. Let your attention be anchored by the breath. Attaching attention to the breath, allowing the breath to flow out all the way, engaging the pelvic floor. And on the in-breath, lengthening up through the spine. Just following the journey of the breath in the spine. Just flowing with the natural inclination of the breath. So already we can feel a sense of surrender, feeling our body being breathed, where we're more the passive recipient of the breath. So we get that sense of surrender when we observe the breath, breath flowing in and out of us. And from that surrendered spaciousness of being, perhaps bringing to mind an intention for your practice or connecting with your heartfelt desire, that which motivates you in life. So just formulating that intention, heartfelt desire from the spaciousness of being, asking Source, that absolute consciousness, to give you the energy and empower you to realize what you want in these moments now or for your life in general. And then those of you that would like to begin joining me with a chant, then if you're lying, make your way to sitting. Otherwise, continuing in your meditation. So sitting comfortably, spine long. We'll begin with our Asatuma Satgamaya. Take us from not knowing to knowing, from the sloth of ignorance to the light of wisdom, and from death to immortality. Begin together with a single Om. Inhale. Om. Asatuma Satgamaya. Asatuma Satgamaya. Tamasuma Chote Gramaya. Tamasuma Chote Gramaya. Mrityoma amritam gamaya, mrityoma amritam gamaya, asatuma satgamaya, tamasuma chotegramaya, mrityoma amritam gamaya, asatuma satgamaya, tamasuma chotegramaya, mrityoma amritam gamaya. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And when you're ready, we're going to come back down onto the floor into lying and just start with a little bit of pelvic floor core stability work. So you can start with something under your head if you like, but we're just going to work with our imagining the clock face on the pelvis to begin. So tuning into that subtle awareness. So imagining the pelvis as a clock face, or even more subtle, imagine a smaller clock face on the sacrum. And just seeing if you can feel the whole of the surface of the sacrum as you're rolling between the 6 o'clock at the tail and the 12 o'clock at the top of the sacrum. Moving slowly. And noticing each side of the sacrum. See if you're evenly weighted through each side. Do you feel symmetrical? And then let's move side to side. So imagining a line between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. I'm just going to get new batteries. I think it might be the batteries might be getting flat, Mike. Let me just get some other batteries. My ever ready long life batteries may not be so long life. Okay, and then you can continue with that, or see whether you can go across the diagonals around the whole clock face. Mike, is that better now? Is that any better?
That's a bit better. Yes.
I'm just not sure what the problem is today. The light was flashing on the transmitter.
When you were answering questions about how to get the screen up, I could hear you really well then, but since then, not as well. Now you're not bad.
Yeah, okay. I'll just keep a check on it. And again, just notice symmetry and difference in sensation, particularly if you're moving around the whole of the surface of the pelvis. Just see, are there little numb spots? Are there spots that feel blocked or uncomfortable? And can you feel the pelvic floor initiating this subtle movement? Okay, and then when you're ready, let's hold the pelvis at the 6 o'clock position. And if you like, you can rest the hands on the front of your pelvis. You can pop a brick on the front of the pelvis. Okay, we haven't done this one for a while. So whatever it is that helps you monitor the position of the pelvis. So remember, we want the pelvis, if we imagine that line between 5 and 7, we want that firmly pressing down the whole time. Now, basic level of core stability, we're just going to lift the heels and then lift one leg at a time, gently up and down. Okay, and just feeling, staying evenly weighted on the surface of the pelvis. And if you want to work a little harder, start with the legs up and lower one tiptoe at a time. And whatever you're doing, we've got pelvic floor engaged. Okay, true Mula Bandha, maybe the front side of the pelvic floor as well. Absolutely no movement of the spine. There's space between the low back and the floor. Breath nice and relaxed. And then when you're even side to side, relax the legs down. Take the arms aeroplane wide, feet more than mat width apart. And we'll just gently drop one leg at a time, one knee at a time into the center. And now feel, so you can really roll across the pelvis now. Going from stability to mobility. Mobilizing the hip, mobilizing the sacroiliac joint in the small range of movement that it has. And then when you're ready, coming back to core stability. Now you can repeat either of the two exercises that we've done already. So establish the pelvis in its neutral position, neutral spine, pressing into the floor at 6 o'clock. Okay, so either of those two we've just done, or if you want to work harder again, quite a few of you might be up for a little bit harder, then we'll start with the shins parallel to the floor and we'll straighten one leg at a time out. Okay, it doesn't need to go all the way straight. The lower the leg, the harder your work. Okay, the higher the leg, the easier. Okay, but we're definitely taking the foot that little bit further ahead of you in order to work the tummy muscles. Okay, pelvic floor stays drawn up, 10% effort in the pelvic floor up, 10% effort in lower abdomen in, and there is additional tummy muscle work here too, but you just want to make sure you've got the underlying pelvic core engaged. Don't do the harder exercise if you're struggling to maintain that pelvic floor. Nice and slowly. Jackie, go gentle with that one. From the point of view of your hips, probably better to stay with the easier ones. For you, it's more maybe a hip exercise. Okay, anyway, let's bring the feet down. Feet together, knees together, arms aeroplane wide, and dropping the knees together side to side now. Inhale to center, exhale to the side. Turning the head in the opposite direction. Okay, and when you're even side to side, we'll hug the knees into the chest and just relax there for a minute. Connecting the pelvic floor with the exhale. Pelvic floor, lower abdomen drawing in with the exhale, relaxing with the inhale. And then when you're ready, roll on over to your side, come to hands and knees. So hands a little bit ahead of the shoulders, a little bit wider than the shoulders. And nice gentle cat-cow, still arriving, still bringing attention into the body. And then on an exhale, floating back to child pose. Inhale back to hands and knees. Just gently moving between the positions, flowing with the breath. As you wait the arms, really spread the fingers wide, maximize the contact of the palms with the floor. And then next time you're on hands and knees, stay there, back straight, gently pressing out to each heel. And then taking your bricks, when you're even side to side, stretch the right leg forward, gently lunge and lengthen. So you can stay with the back knee down or go that little bit deeper for your hamstrings. Inhale, lunge, then lift the back knee, lengthening through the front leg. And then next time you come down, change sides. Doing exactly the same thing on the second side as your first side. Lunging and lengthening. Okay, and then next time you come down, stepping back. And we're going to walk the hands forward into half dog. So keep the hips above the knees, walk the hands forward. If you need a little bit more support for the shoulders, rest the elbows down. Spread the fingers wide, maximize the contact of the palms on the floor. Now stay with that, or if you like, you can press out into full down face dog now, endeavoring to keep that openness that you have now in the shoulders. And exhale, relax down, rest in child pose, or give your knees a break, lie on your belly. Wherever you are, nice relaxed breathing, feeling the breath in the back of the body. Okay, let's come one more time through that half dog into down dog. So I think you get a little bit more shoulder opening in the half dog. So just come back to that for a moment. Just get that nice little more passive stretch out through the shoulder. And to intensify it, you lift the lower ribs up. So some of you might have need to open the thoracic area more. It might be the thoracic tightness is the challenge. So then you sink the top of the chest down. But if it's the shoulders, you lift the lower ribs up to get that little bit of additional lengthening through the shoulders. Because we lose this when we go into the full dog. So it's worth having a little passive stretch out there first. And so you can stay with that again if you like, or whenever you're ready, coming back to hands and knees. Establish the contact of the palms with the floor, elbow creases facing each other, and seeing whether you can recreate that shoulder opening, but now the arm weighted. Push the back of the chest up into the shoulder blades as you glide back. And seeing again whether you can keep that palmar pressure on the floor. Wherever you are, come to hands and knees. Okay, from hands and knees, we're going to take opposite arm and leg forward, and I'm going to give you the option of lifting and holding or moving with the breath in and out of it. So it's inhale, raise opposite arm and leg, no swaying of the pelvis out to the side. So trying to keep the spine in the midline, the pelvis square. And again, it's all about the grounded arm. Keep that grounded arm, palm pressing down. And if you want to work that a little bit harder, lift and hold. Try maybe 3 breaths on each side. Now, when you're even side to side, we're all going to have a little stretch out in down face dog. From down face dog, look between the hands, step, walk the feet forward, and come up to standing. And come to stand in Tadasana. Feet hip width apart, feel down into the feet. Now roll your shoulders up, back and down. If you can, feel like you're pressing the backs of the shoulder blades into the back of the rib cage. So you're lifting the chest from a little push from behind. Imagine I've got my hands on your scapula and I'm gently pressing forward. Now we're going to inhale and take the arms wide to the side, and exhale, turn the palms in. So just playing with that internal rotation and outward rotation without disturbing the spine. So see whether you can just feel the spine's in its comfortable upright position, natural curves. Now feel there's a turning through the forearm or a turning through the whole of the arm. Okay, see whether you can isolate both of them. So feel that turning in, arm bone turning forward, and then turning out. And then if you bend the elbows a little bit more, you might get more of a sense. That's the forearm movement. Palms up, palms down, moving through the forearms only. And you know, when we do this with the arms, we're actually doing both, probably naturally. So see, you can just move the forearms. Okay, it looks like it's just my hands, palms up, palms down, but the movement's actually from the elbow down, or I can move the whole of the arm. So typically when the arm comes higher, we're externally rotating the upper arm. When the arms lower and coming behind the back is when we're internally rotating the arm. Okay, let's bring the hands on to take the thumbs into the groin. And we're going to bend the knees and come down into Utkatasana, Ardha Utkatasana. So check that the feet are parallel, knees a little bit wider than the hips. Okay, imagine you're pressing the knees out into an imagined resistance. And we're going to inhale and bring the arms up parallel to the floor in front of us. And then let's do that movement again. Palms up, bicep facing up. Bicep facing up is the outward rotation of the arm. Now we're going to keep the bicep facing up and we're just going to play with the movement of the forearms. Palms up, forearms up, turning through the forearms to place the palms down. Okay, with the elbow facing up, that's the full external rotation of the shoulder. Now, wherever you leave your palms, draw your shoulder blades down. Really feel, imagine you're holding a box in front of the body. Okay, and feel that scapula drawing down. So you're lifting that box with the back muscles, not the arms or the neck. Okay, let's take a break for a minute. Back to Tadasana. Have a little shimmy. Let's inhale, take the arms wide. And exhale, give yourself a hug. So separate those shoulder blade muscles now. Draw the shoulders and shoulder blades broad and down. Lift the elbows to enhance the opening. Now notice which arm's on top. And we're going to change arms. So inhale, release the arms wide. And exhale, bring the other arm on top. Gently hugging those shoulder blades back and down. And release the arms. Okay, exhale, bend the knees again. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper. Unless we're going really, the pelvis is about 90 degrees, so bring the chest forward just a little bit. Imagine you're going to sit on a stool. And inhale the arms back up in front of you. Now this time I want you to orientate the arms so the elbow creases are facing each other. So that's the neutral rotation. We can once again turn the palms to face any direction, but see if you can keep the elbow creases facing each other. Draw the shoulder blades broad and down. And just holding the arms there. Imagine you're holding a box or a basketball, something between your hands. Okay, if you want to work harder, sink deeper. If you want to make it easier, come a little higher. Keep breathing length into the spine. Lift the chest. Okay, and then inhale, come up. Release the hands. Let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Hanging towards the floor or supporting elbows on bent knees if you need. Strong in the legs, come up. And step the feet mat with the, along the long line of your mat. Hands on your hips, gently figure eight the hips. Change the direction of the figure eight. And then coming back into that neutral position, let's inhale, bring the arms up into the cactus arm position. So that biceps facing up, we're externally rotated. Okay, and then we're going to fold down to the neutral. So palms parallel to the floor on an exhale, inhale, opening back up. Lovely. Okay, so that's the easy one. Now, if we sink a little bit lower, try to bring the palms lower than the elbows. So that's the internal rotation. Once we come lower than parallel, now you've got to make sure the shoulder's not riding forward there. Okay, so if you like, do one arm at a time. If you come back into the cactus arm, push the shoulder blades forward again to stabilize. And as you go down, feel you don't get very far into internal rotation if you've really got that scapula stabilized. So if you've got any doubt or if you've had injuries with your shoulders, then maybe do one arm at a time. But as you approach that internal rotation, keep that shoulder blade pressed firm against the back of the chest. The more you keep the chest lifted, the more you keep that shoulder blade engaged, the more we isolate that movement into internal rotation. And I'm going to focus specifically on it so you can move just from neutral into internal. And there's not a lot of movement there. Okay, if you're a person that's got movement, then move very slowly. You're working instead on stabilizing. So a few of you that have got too much, well, not too much, but a comfortable, a good amount of mobility, you may need the stability more. Whew. Hard work. Give the shoulders a shake out. Okay, so we're going to come side to side, externally rotated arms as we come up, internally rotated arms, the back arm rests on the back of the spine, and just really acknowledging that internal rotation as we come down. Externally rotating, internally rotating. And when you're even side to side, coming back up, rest your hands on your hips, connect with the breath in your spine. Okay, let's turn right foot out to 90, left toes in, right thumb into the right groin. So that leg's straight but not locked. Keep the right outer thigh tucking down. Okay, we're going to leave that hand there now. So we're going to reach back with the left arm, inhaling and exhaling, wrapping ourselves around the groin to come down over the right leg in time with your breath. Next time you come up, exhale the hands to the hips, feet to the front. Second side, left foot out to 90, right toes in. Left thumb into the left groin, legs straight but not locked. Inhale, reaching high and wide with the right arm. Exhale, wrapping around the left thumb. Inhale up, exhale down. Okay, next inhale up, hands to the hips, feet to the front, breathing. Now, if you can take yourself a chair or some bricks or a coffee table, I want you higher rather than lower. So we're going to come and lie along the front leg to begin with in Parsvottanasana. I'll just demonstrate to the front. So we're going to stay there for a little while, and then we're going to come up, back straight, and twist to that straight leg side. So it's quite a strong twist, Trikonasana. So better to have more height rather than less. You really want to be twisting around a lengthening spine. So if you look at my back's straight as I'm twisting. If you're too low, the back will be rounded and it'll be challenging for your shoulder and your back, okay, in a not good way. Okay, yep, so a little test run there. And then when you're ready, just lying along the right leg to begin. Coming directly into Parsvottanasana and relaxing down that leg. So we just give the hamstring a good little lengthen out before we twist. So right foot's out to 90, left toes deeply in. If you're a little bit tight in your hamstrings, feel free to bend the knee just to give you that little bit more freedom. Nice and relaxed. The weather's warming up. It's ideal to get this muscle lengthening. Make sure you're not locking either knee. If the knees are locking, press the shin bone forward slightly, draw the kneecap up. Now coming halfway back up, and if you are a little bit tight in your hamstrings, then bend your knee. Come into more a Parsvottanasana. Okay, your back will tell you if your back or shoulder's uncomfortable, then I'd bend the knee. Those of you that are able to, you can keep the legs straight. And twisting around the lengthening spine, inhaling to the right side. Reaching up to the sky on an inhale, exhaling down. You can also work with the draw the bow action. Yeah, feel the difference, Sally. When you come lower, it'll just be a little bit hard to get the chest opening. That looks good. So as you twist, you're lengthening, you're drawing the pelvis back, you're stretching the hamstring as you're lengthening the spine. Really feel that reach up into the hip. It's quite an advanced twist, this one. So let me make sure everyone's twisting the right way. Janetta, have you got your right leg in front? Yeah, so twist the other way. Yeah, that's it. It's the hard twist. If it feels easy, you might be twisting the wrong way. Sally, I think you've got your other leg in front too. Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yep. It's hard with your dark trousers. It's hard to see sometimes which leg it is. Yeah, but you look, that's really good. Okay, next exhale, have a little lie along the leg again. Relaxing. And then strong in the legs, come up. And we'll come round to the second side, left foot out, right toes in. Lying along the leg to begin. So just nice little relaxing forward bend there. Stretching through the back of the legs, stretching maybe up into the hip as well. And then coming halfway back up, trying to make sure the back's nice and straight before you twist to the other side now, the left side. Inhale, twist, exhale, release. Lift the chest as you turn, so you're twisting around, a lengthening spine. Keep drawing the left outer hip back, particularly you, Jackie B. Keep that left groin drawing back. It's pretty good. Legs straight but not locked. Very gently, Pam. Looking good, guys. Hopefully you feel the engagement of the legs too, that the strength in the legs supports the twist. So that's why you want to make sure you're not locking into the knee. Jackie B, you might be a little bit long in your stride, I think. You've got the flexibility, but if you just shorten a little bit, make it a little bit easier to turn. Yeah, lovely. Okay, if you feel like you're even side to side, then have a little relax forward. Relax down in that forward bend again. And then with the strength of the legs, come up and step the feet back together and relax forward into Dasana, in Uttanasana. Strong in the legs, and up you come. And we're going to come down onto the floor, bolster or bricks under the upper back and head. So I'll just use the second brick there, but you can use 2 bolsters. So actually, if you've got something to put under the knees as well, I want the knees supported. So just gather a few cushions around. Get the camera back down. Okay, so bolster or brick, ideally something long ways to stabilize the scapula. So if we have the brick in the center, like that, it'll open along the spine. But if we turn it sideways, perhaps with a cushion on top, it holds the scapula into the back of the chest, which creates more opening through the pec. Okay, so particularly if you desire that opening. Okay, so see when I lie down, A bolster is going to stabilize that scapula, and I'm just going to take my arms aeroplane wide and relax. So do nothing time now. Let gravity do the work for you. Surrender into the surface you're lying on. Let go of any holding, any resistance. If you experience any pain or discomfort, then you've got to alter your setup. You want to have something that you really can relax into. Feel the chest lifting and expanding with each inhale. Letting go of all your thoughts with the exhale. Get a sense that your inhale and exhale are even in length. And if you're comfortable to introduce a pause after each inhale and after each exhale. Okay, now in a moment, we're going to come into figure 4. If you like, you can place the bolster under your pelvis instead. So taking your time, supporting your head if you need, and transitioning into bolster under pelvis or 2 bolsters under pelvis. And then hug the knees into the chest. And we'll come from that hugged in position into the figure 4. Gently sitting on the edge of that opening, continuing in a relaxed manner. Okay, let's change legs. Okay, release. Now just take the feet to the floor for a minute and just see if it feels okay to straighten the legs with that little lift under the pelvis. So if it doesn't feel okay, you can just bend your knees and work with a little bridging. If it's okay to, just stay there. And if you want to work a little bit more firmly in opening the hips, we're just going to walk the feet a little to the side, like we're doing a banana. And just breathing into the front of the pelvis, softening around the abdominal organs. And if you've got the feet, walk to the side in the banana, change sides. If there's any discomfort in the low back, then just bring the knees back into the chest. So it's a strong opening in terms of it's persistent. And then coming back into the midline, hugging the knees into the chest. Now we're going to come back into figure 4, but we're going to straighten the behind leg now. And just gently holding the leg in the position, connect with the breath. So it's like an upside down Mahamudra. Going to inhale, pause, exhale, pause, not holding, just pausing between inhale and exhale, exhale and inhale. Engaging Mula Bandha on the exhale. Release the legs, change sides. And continuing with that inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And release. Let's take the feet flat to the floor for a moment and just have a little bridge up. Inhale up, exhale down a couple times. Feeling the establishment of Jalandhara Bandha as the chest moves to the chin. And then rolling to your side and making your way up to sitting. So we're going to finish with Mahamudra now in sitting. And my light's flashing here again. Is the sound still okay? I think I'm going to have to put my batteries and recharge. Okay, so make sure you're sitting on enough height to be comfortable. So if we start with the legs out straight, we're going to draw the left leg back. You can have the right leg bent. Okay, the legs straightish. So remember, I'll flow through it, but remember we're aiming to keep the back straight, the chest lifted to the chin when we're in the Mahamudra. Okay, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, straight back, hold the breath in. Exhale, hold the breath out. And moving into your comfortable sequence. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Maybe in 6, hold 3, out 6, hold out 3, or each stage of the breath 6. And with your next exhale, lying along the leg. And inhale, come up. Change legs. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, straight back, hold the breath in, Jalandhara Bandha. Exhale, hold the breath out, Mula Bandha. Continuing in your comfortable rhythm. Next exhale, folding over the leg. And inhaling, coming up. And straightening the legs out in front of you. Now we only have a short Shavasana, so if you like, lying in Shavasana, or if you prefer, you can stay in seated meditation. And coming swiftly back into being awareness. Not thinking that it needs to take a long time. This end of the class, very embodied, very present in your body. Just easily dropping back into awareness. So coming slowly out of your practice. So endeavoring to move with awareness back into your world. If you'd like to join me closing with 3 Oms, bring hands to your heart. Inhale. Gently bow your head to your hands. Namaste.